Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm reviewing the ASUS ZenScreen Go MB16AWP, a wireless portable display. First of all, disclaimer, this is a review unit on loan from ASUS Singapore, but this is not a sponsored review and all the opinions are my own. This video is going to be a bit long, so if you want to save time, you can check out the text review that I have already written on my blog. The link is in the video description below. This ASUS display can be paired with macOS, Windows, iPhones, iPads and Android devices, and as you can see, it does not need a video cable and it doesn't even need a power cable because there is a built-in battery. Alright, just to give you the bottom line up front, this ASUS display looks beautiful and the wireless functionality is very convenient and works well. I measured color support for 100% sRGB and a maximum brightness of 200 nits. Downsides, with Miracast and Windows, I was only able to get a maximum of 30Hz refresh rate, and it seems like it's also 30Hz with Android connection. Second downside, and this happens only with Windows, occasionally there is cursor offset or misalignment. So when you click, the clicking point is actually not where the cursor is. So if you see this selection box that I've just created, it's quite far away from where my cursor is. The fix for this is to restart the ASUS display, and it's going to take 1 minute for the display to restart and reconnect to Windows. It's not a touch screen, resolution is 1080p, and it's kind of pricey at 799 Singapore dollars or US $470. At the time of making this review, there are countless portable monitors out there in the market with way lower price points. The main selling point here is the wireless connectivity and the built-in battery, so it's incredibly convenient to bring this display around and you don't even need to bring any cables. And by the way, there is a built-in kickstand and the overall build quality is pretty good. If you don't need the wireless connectivity, you can save a lot of money by going with portable displays that use video cables. These are the items included in the box. There is a USB-C to C cable, a power adapter, a mini HDMI to full-size HDMI adapter, a cover for the tripod screw mount at the back of the display, and a sleeve for the display. This sleeve or bag is for transporting the display and to protect the display. There are no pockets for cables because with this display you don't need cables. The design of this display looks good. This is a 15.6-inch display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. So the aspect ratio is 16:9. On a 15.6-inch display with this resolution, you are going to see slight pixelation, but it's still a very usable resolution on this display. The bezels are quite thin on the side at the top, thicker at the bottom. At the bottom left is a button for the OSD menu, and this is a 4-way toggle, so it's very easy to navigate around the menu. Located at the bottom right side is the power button and a blue light indicator. You need to press and hold this for 2 seconds to power on the display. The back has a built-in kickstand which is very convenient, and this is very easy to deploy. This is a rubber feet. There are 2 more rubber feet here, so this display has very good grip on the table. And this is the lowest angle. This is the tallest angle. And you may notice there is this part here which is not a full rectangle. This is so that you can deploy the monitor vertically. This is the removable cover for the tripod screw mount. The tripod screw dimension is 3/8 inches. On the left side of the display, there is a 1-watt speaker. There is another speaker on the right side, so you can get stereo effect. The audio quality is alright. The volume is limited by the 1 watt. Many portable monitors have back-facing speakers, so with side-facing speakers, the audio quality is just much better. That's a 3.5mm audio jack, a mini HDMI port, and a USB-C port. There is another USB-C port near the bottom, but this is only for charging, and that's the latch for the kickstand. This USB-C port is only for video signal. It doesn't charge the built-in battery, which has a battery capacity of 7,800 milliamp hours. So you can only use this USB-C port for charging the battery. The battery life, from what I've tested, is at least 4 hours when you're using the display at 50% brightness, which is around 122 nits. So currently I have the display running at 50% brightness, which is slightly dim in this bright room environment. I can increase this up to 70% and it looks great. I don't even need to use this at 100%. The maximum brightness that I have measured is 202 nits. With a Spider 5 Pro color calibrator, I measured color support for 100% sRGB, 77% Adobe RGB, 78% P3, and 72% NTSC. So this display is 100% sRGB display. It's an IPS panel, so viewing angles are pretty good with minimal color shift. The surface is matte textured, so that's how the anti-glare looks with reflections on the display. As long as you don't have reflections on the display, it's going to look fantastic. This display is 11.5mm thick, which makes me feel like I'm using a tablet, but there is no touch screen. And on numerous occasions, despite me knowing that it's not a tablet, I still went ahead to touch the screen. Let's see what you can do with the OSD. So there are quick shortcuts to the volume, video, signal, brightness, and when you push to the left, it's going to close. Now the OSD menu is very responsive, which is great. It makes navigating really fast. So these are the different screen modes, and depending on the screen mode that you choose, some of the color settings here may be grayed out. For example, here the saturation and skin tone modes are grayed out. This is the blue light filter. For color settings, there is brightness, contrast, saturation, color temperature, and I'm not sure what skin tone is. This is the image setting, sharpness, trace free, aspect control, vivid pixel, ASCR. This is the video signal, system setup, shortcuts which are customizable, and settings, shortcuts for settings as well. And now let me show you the different ways to connect this display to various devices. The main reason to buy this particular display is so that you don't have to use video cables for connection. Currently I'm using my own USB-C cable to connect my Windows computer to this display. There is no power cable because there is the internal battery, so you can use USB-C for video, or you can use HDMI for video, and you do not need to use any power cable. To use wireless connection, you first have to choose the wireless input. After you choose wireless input, the display will restart. There will be a loading screen. It's going to take more than a few seconds to restart. It's not that fast, but it's not that slow either. And once it restarts, it's going to show you this home screen with instructions on how you can connect this display wirelessly to iPhones, iPads, Android devices, Mac OS, and Windows. The SSID is the name of this display, so when you're using your computer or your tablet to find this wireless display, that's the name to look for. And depending on the device you use, you may or may not need to use the password. To connect a Windows computer to the display wirelessly, just press the keyboard shortcut Windows key plus K, and this pop-up will appear, and select the display that's listed here. Once this display is connected wirelessly, you will get all the same functionality that you would get as if it's any other typical external monitor. One downside with the Windows wireless connection is currently with Miracast, the refresh rate is only limited to a maximum of 30 Hz. The latency is pretty good, as in there is not much lag when you're moving windows around or moving your cursor around. So it's just the refresh rate that is making the visuals look choppy. Image quality will depend on how good the wireless connection is, and right now the wireless connection isn't that great, so the visual quality looks slightly fuzzy and there is slight color noise. However, when the connection is better, the image quality will look better. One glitch I discovered with the Windows wireless connection is with cursor offset. For example, when I right-click, the top left of the box should appear right underneath the cursor, but it doesn't. This means your clicking point is not where the cursor is. So if I drag a selection, you can see the selection box is actually quite far away from the cursor. This glitch only happens with Windows wireless connection. The fix is to restart the ASUS display, and it's going to take around 45 seconds to get into the wireless connection mode, another maybe 15 seconds to connect back to Windows. Hopefully this can be solved with a Windows update or ASUS firmware update. The other issue is with the auto rotation of the display. ASUS advertised auto rotation with this display. However, to get that to work, you will need to install the ASUS display widget driver, which at the time of making this review is not available for this particular monitor. I've tried the driver made for some other ASUS monitor and it didn't work. And that driver seems to be available only for Windows users. Anyway, without that driver, you won't be able to auto-rotate the orientation, but you can still do it manually with the Windows settings here. Let me just change it to portrait. You can do it manually, you just can't do it automatically. The wireless connection works better for more static visuals such as web pages. Scrolling works fine, but you can definitely see the extra bit of choppiness that comes from the 30 Hz refresh rate versus 60 Hz refresh rate. When it comes to playing videos, the video is not going to be as smooth. Occasionally there will be choppiness as well. So if you really want 60 Hz or smooth video, better animation when it comes to moving your windows around, go with the cable connection. But if you want to go with the cable connection, then there's no reason to buy a wireless display. In other words, the wireless connection is not good for playing videos and definitely not good for gaming. With macOS, you have to look for the ASUS display under Wi-Fi settings. So when you connect to the ASUS display, it also means that you are not connected to your home Wi-Fi, so you will not have internet. So there is one extra step you will need to do in order to get internet. To get internet, you have to remember this URL that's listed on the ASUS display. So just connect by choosing the ASUS display from the Wi-Fi settings here. Go into the system preferences under displays to add a new display. The wireless connection will take a few seconds, so now it's connected. I can drag my window from the left to the right. The animation here is smoother compared to what I saw with the Windows connection because this is running at 60 Hz. Remember the URL earlier, so you're supposed to use your web browser, enter the URL, and it's going to present to you this page where it will allow you to connect to your home Wi-Fi. You only have to do this once. Next time you restart your Mac or your ASUS display, it will remember the settings. So now I have internet. To disconnect, you do it under System Preferences. In this case, you select the display, which is under Apple TV AirPlay, and disconnect. To connect with an iPhone or iPad, same thing, go into the Wi-Fi settings and look for the ASUS display and connect. Once connected, just tap on the screen mirroring button here and choose the ASUS display. And now it's connected. Because there is very limited support for external displays with iPhones and iPads, I don't find this sort of wireless connection to be that useful. There are some apps which can take advantage of external displays, but most apps don't. So if I turn this horizontally, you can see nothing changes. YouTube will allow you to play videos in the landscape orientation. You just have to turn this around. So this is the aspect ratio of the iPhone. That's why there are black bars on the left, right, top and bottom. And the video playback is again not that smooth compared to cable connection. To connect an iPad to the ASUS display, same thing, go into the Wi-Fi settings and look for the ASUS display and connect. This iPad is Wi-Fi only, there is no cellular connectivity. So again, in order to get internet, you have to load the web browser, load the URL and connect the display to your Wi-Fi to get internet on your iPad. Support for external displays on iOS and iPadOS devices is very limited. There are just a handful of apps that support external displays. I know Procreate supports external displays, so you can draw here and see a bigger version of your artwork. Apple TV, as in the TV app, works as well. YouTube, very limited. Let's connect an Android device. Depending on the brand of Android phone or tablet you are using, the steps that you see here may be slightly different. So I'm using a Samsung tablet. Let's look at this. There are two ways to connect to a wireless display with this Samsung tablet. There is the Smart View connection, which is just the mirror mode. So this is not going to be very useful. It's just like connecting an iPhone or iPad to the ASUS display. So it's better to use Samsung Dex. Let me just press and hold this Samsung Dex button. So it will go to the Samsung Dex settings page and it will try to look for the ASUS display, and it found the display, so let's connect. Wireless Samsung Dex has the same functionality as Samsung Dex with a cable connection. So on the Android tablet, it's going to show you the tablet workspace. On the external wireless display here, it's going to show you the Samsung Dex desktop workspace with windows that you can move. I can see the visuals, the animation is kind of choppy, so chances are this is also running at 30 Hz refresh rate. Image quality looks alright. It's just that with 1080p resolution, pixelation is noticeable. I have a keyboard and touchpad here, so I can use the touchpad to move the cursor around. If you do not have a touchpad here, in this case for the Samsung tablet, you can go into the settings or the Samsung Dex settings and turn this tablet into a giant touchpad so that you can move the cursor around. If you cannot move the cursor around, you won't be able to use this because remember, this is not a touch screen, so you won't be able to touch the icons to launch the apps. Alright, to conclude, having an external display is always useful and can improve your productivity. In this case, this wireless display is more useful with macOS, Windows, Android phones, and tablets. It doesn't work as well with iPhones and iPads only because iPhones and iPads have very limited external display support. The wireless functionality is very convenient, and in this case there is also a built-in battery. So if you need to bring this out and about, you don't need to bring video cables, you don't need to bring power cables or power adapters. It's very compact, very portable, and very convenient. The battery life, I can get around 4+ hours with 50% brightness, so that to me is actually quite good. This display is definitely more expensive compared to other portable monitors out there in the market, but the main selling point here is the wireless connectivity and the built-in battery, and there aren't many portable displays out there with wireless connectivity and built-in battery, so That is, in my opinion, the main selling point for this display. As to whether this is worth 799 Singapore dollars or 470 US dollars, you can decide based on the findings that I have presented. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions regarding this display, let me know in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video. Bye!